Are you interested in breaking into the entertainment industry? Backstage catalogs, casting calls for movies, television shows, and other mediums, along with other industry work. Also, you can provide listings for your own projects on there. Backstage is trusted by organizations like Disney, Netflix, and HBO for work on their content. In the description of this video is a link for a special membership deal to join Backstage from me, Ryan Holman. In September 2022, Scuderia AlphaTauri publicly expressed an interest in hiring Colton Herta for their Formula One team. However, the FIA, the governing body for the series, stated that Herta would not have enough super license points to compete. Personally, I think Herta should be allowed the chance to compete in Formula One, for reasons that I will explain. I will first summarize Herta's major racing career through September 2022. He first began to compete full-time in IndyCar Series, the United States' top national Formula Car series, in 2019 after having competed in the 2018 season finale at Sonoma. Herta drove for Harding Steinbrenner Racing with technical support from Andretti Autosport. After finishing 8th at the St. Petersburg season opener, Herta made his mark on the series in their first appearance at Circuit of the Americas. There, he qualified 4th and ran strongly in the top 3 for most of the race. On lap 44, Herta made his final pit stop. Moments later, Felix Rosenqvist crashed, bringing out the caution. Herta was the highest running driver who had already made their final stop. As a result, after the drivers ahead of Herta made their final stops, he got the lead. Following a restart with 10 laps to go, he held off former series champions Joseph Newgarden and Ryan Hunter-Reay to get his first win in just his third start. Unfortunately, it would be 8 more races until Herta got his next top 10 finish in 8th place at Road America. However, in the meantime, he had qualified in the top 10 in each race, and his lack of results was not from a lack of effort. For example, at the Indianapolis 500, Herta was the fastest rookie qualifier and started 5th, but suffered a gearbox issue on the 4th lap, causing him to retire and finish in 33rd place, last. Then, at Texas, Herta was in position to finish in the top 5. He tried to pass Scott Dixon for 2nd, with 20 laps to go. Dixon moved downwards and collected both drivers. After returning to the top 10 at Road America, where Herta also got his first pole position, he finished in the top 10 in 5 of the remaining 7 races. This included getting a second win at Laguna Seca, where Herta qualified first and led for 93 of 100 laps. Ultimately, Herta finished 7th in the championship. For 2020, Herta was moved up to Andretti proper, and his performance continued from the end of the previous season. Out of 14 races, Herta finished in the top 10 in 11 of them. This included a dominant performance at Mid-Ohio, where he qualified on the pole position, led for 57 of 75 laps, and won. Additionally, in his return to the 500, Herta had a much better showing. Although he dropped to starting 10th, he managed to lead a lap, albeit during a pit stop cycle, but Herta completed the full distance and finished in a respectable 8th place. In 2021, Herta's strength evolved to regularly being a dominator in races, even though this did not always mean he got quality finishes. At the second race of the season, St. Petersburg, Herta started and finished first after leading for 97 of 100 laps. He had additional wins at Laguna Seca and Long Beach, the final 2 races of the season. Again, these came in dominating fashion. At the former, Herta qualified on the pole and led for 91 of 95 laps, and at the latter, he gradually came from starting 14th out of 28 drivers to ultimately lead for 43 of 85 laps and close off the season nicely. However, Herta had something of a repeat of 2019, namely having strong races that did not end well. At Indianapolis, he qualified in 2nd place and grabbed the lead on the first lap. In all, Herta led for 13 of the first 48 laps. Afterwards, he started to drop back, as his car's handling was not as good once he was in traffic. Herta would finish the race in a disappointing 16th place, although he was on the lead lap. This was replicated in worse ways at Nashville and Gateway. At Nashville, Herta started first and dominated, as he led a race-high 39 laps. However, after losing the lead to Marcus Ericsson, Herta gained rapidly on him in the final 10 laps, only to crash out with 6 laps to go. For Gateway, Herta led for 101 laps and, in an attempt to regain the lead, made a bold pass on Newgarden. by not backing down after Newgarden blocked him. Unfortunately, it was all for naught, as Herta's drive shaft failed right after he made a pit stop as the leader on lap 185 of 260. Even with these tribulations, Herta still finished 5th in the championship. 2022 would be a mixed season for Herta. He did get a win at the Indianapolis road course after leading for 50 of 75 laps in a race plagued by on and off rain. Out of 16 races, he finished in the top 10 8 times. In the remaining 8 races, he finished 15th or worse 5 times. At the end of the season, Herta was ranked 10th in the final standings. In very much a repeat of the result from Nashville the prior year, Herta returned to Long Beach to defend his victory, and he put himself in a good position to do so by qualifying on the pole position and leading for 28 of the first 55 laps, only to crash out by himself. The Indianapolis 500 was pretty bad for Herta, although he showed his perseverance through it all. During qualifying, Herta's engine failed. However, he did get a replacement, but qualified in a lowly 25th place. Then, during final practice, Herta had a spectacular crash that resulted in his team electing to instead use a backup car. In the race itself, Herta had a throttle issue and did not make much progress from his starting position. Ultimately, he retired, with 129 laps completed in 30th place. The reason that I bring this up is that Herta showed maturity as a driver by making the best of a bad situation and running hard to the extent that he could, anyway. Something else I will mention is Herta's exploits in the IMSA Sports Car Championship, the top American sports car series, particularly at the 24 Hours of Daytona, the series' most prestigious race. In 2019 and 2022, Herta was part of the winning team at Daytona, although these were class wins, not overall wins. In fact, in 2022, Herta was the driver who finished the race in the entry. I have shown that Herta has been a regular winner in a top national Formula Series, has had strong runs at one of the most prestigious events on Earth, and has been a winner in a major endurance race. I think that these accomplishments are enough to make a driver Formula One material. Something else I will note is Max Verstappen's experience, or lack thereof, before he started to compete in Formula One in 2015. In the levels above karting, Verstappen started just 46 races, all in 2014, during this time, with 33 of them being in the Formula 3 European Championship, the current equivalent to Formula Regional European, not to be confused with the current Formula 3 series. This is not meant to be a knock at Verstappen, who has won 30 Formula 1 Grand Prix and the 2021 World Championship. I am pointing out that Herta has more experience in Major League Racing than the current world champion had in all divisions above karting before joining Formula 1. As I've stated, I believe that Colton Herta deserves a Formula 1 chance. Ultimately, the FIA did not make a decision either way on giving him a super license, so AlphaTauri dropped him. Afterwards, the sanctioning body officially decided not to grant Herta the license. Whether Herta gets a shot at Formula 1 at some point remains to be seen. I certainly hope he gets one. Flow Racing is the home of live and on-demand racing content from NASCAR, USAC Racing, the Chili Bowl Nationals, the All-Star Circuit of Champions, and more. This includes events, original programming, rankings, and behind-the-scenes footage. Go to the link below, also in the description and pinned comment, for a special subscription sign-up from me, Ryan Holman. Monthly subscription rates start at $12.50 per month. Now we're off to the races.